difficult to grip the pen with that one hand.
Okay, okay. That's really helpful to know. We'll just take it slow. One thing I do want to just kind of emphasize, not kind of, how do you kind of emphasize something? I'd like to emphasize that for you both during this session, we ask you to limit your topics of conversation to not discuss anything personal or sensitive, such as any information related to any medical conditions and diagnosis or treatment or et cetera. That's challenging given the context, but there's a lot of background that we know from your previous involvement just overall in the Euphonia project. The focus of today's session is really on the web tool and the voice recording process. And so.
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay, great. All right. Well, with that, maybe we could start off first. I'd love to hear just from the very beginning of your process, experience recording your voice. I know that you did that with Richard. Maybe if you could just tell me overall, how was that experience for you? What went well? I'd like to know what didn't go well and what could be improved, but we could just start from the beginning there.
Yeah, so I got into contact with Richard through social media initially. I wanted to be able to capture my voice, and I had much success. I tried a couple of companies, and it just wasn't quite me. My voice is my identity, and I needed people to know that it was me when I was speaking. Yeah. So I approached Richard, and he arranged everything that we needed to put in place to record my voice. So I suppose it was a couple of hours in a recording studio. And it was really quite enjoyable, wasn't it? It was a nice warm day and sitting there reading one of my favorite books. And that all just went well. So it was a lovely recording studio local to me. And yeah, so, and then Richard handled the recording and the transcription. And then it was over to him.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It was straightforward, and as a teacher, I wouldn't have minded reading for 2 hours, something that I would have been used to doing anyway.
Straightforward and a lovely recording, a recording studio close to you. Enjoyed reading the book. Anything that didn't go well or could have been better?
No. It was all good. It was all positive, and yeah, lovely afternoon out.
What was the process like of receiving your personalized voice? And how long did that take, and what was the process like receiving?
I can't think how long it was. It was a good few months. It was a good few months, and then first of all, I had some samples, which was a really good indication that it was going successfully. A bit of a carrot, a bit of a enticement to know that it was going to sound really good. And when I eventually received the app to be able to produce any text I wanted, I was just blown away. No one has yet realized that it isn't me. I've been able to fool everybody with it.
I want to go back to just understanding a little bit more, really quick, about your experience. You connected with Richard via social media. Were you a part of Chit Chat? Richard, was she a part of the Chit Chat project?
I became part of the Chit Chat along at the same time. Richard, do you want to talk that bit through?
Yeah, Diana, you've been wonderful. You've been helping us on all sorts of things, and actually, you are recording for Chit Chat currently, and so thank you for that.
Okay. All right. So I was asking about your experience receiving your voice. You told me about that process. the samples were really helpful to kind of give you some indication that things were actually going well. And now I'll just move forward and ask about your recent usage, so I kind of get an understanding of how your usage has been recently with using the web tool. Can you kind of let me know, have you used it yet? How many times, what for?
Yeah, I've used it quite a few times. Really, just as people have said, oh, have you recorded your voice and how did it go? And what does it sound like? So I've just copied and pasted some of the text from anywhere off the internet, pasted it into the box and played it. And they have not believed that it was my digital voice, because they'd all heard what it could have sounded like before with another recorded voice. And then they've heard this one and been blown away by it, absolutely amazed.
What aspects do you think is blowing away people? What do you think is amazing them?
It sounds just like me. Everyone says that the emphasis is just like how I would read it. I actually think it sounds better than me, purely because my voice is going, but it sounds nice and pure. There's no ums and ahs in it when I put text in, like there is now. But yeah, everyone's just been amazed, especially when there's something like a tongue twister. I pasted some poetry into it the other day, and a teacher friend said, could you record that and I can play it to my kids in the class?
Oh, wow.
So I took that as a real compliment, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so really pleased.
Diana, can I get a picture of these people? You said everyone. Who exactly did you share this with?
I shared this with one of my longest teacher friends. I think we've known each other over 20 years, and she doesn't live far away. And so she knows the experience I've gone through. She is aware of what I've gone through. And yeah, so she thought that the fact that I can copy and put my text into a box and click create and it's done.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it sounds good.
That's really great to hear. Did you share it with anyone else? I imagine Steve.
Yeah, Steve's listened to it. I think everyone in my family.
Okay.
And I've also a couple of times I've said something like a joke or something, or a little quotation, and I played it to a couple of my pupils that I tutor. So they've not been able to see me; they can only hear me because it's through a whiteboard app. So they've heard it and they've not realised that it wasn't me.
Okay. Those sound like those are good indicators for you of why you like the voice.
Yeah.
Okay. So one other quick, when you are playing, are you using different devices to play the voice? Is it?
Yeah, I've used my mobile phone, my tablet, and my laptop.
Okay.
And whichever device I use, it still sounds good. Obviously, providing I've got internet access.
Okay. Yeah, the internet.
I was just wondering if I could ask. Is it okay to ask a question? I mean, Diana, I'm so pleased to hear this, by the way. But also, kind of, you were saying earlier that your voice is changing. It feels like your voice is changing. Can you can you tell? Does it feel that you can tell the difference between the voice that Google's provided and your natural voice now, or is it?
Yes, I mean, it's kept the quality.
Mhm.
It's preserved me. It's kept my identity in the form of my voice, and it's exactly what I wanted to hear when I heard back my voice.
Lovely.
Really
I
awesome.
suppose sometimes when you feel tired or just feel like it's quite hard to talk, how would you feel about using that voice
Oh,
to?
if I had an app where I could select the words and put words in and create the text easily, then no doubt I'd be using that all the time, especially out in noisy places where we're speaking now. It's nice and quiet, but if I'm in somewhere noisy, like a restaurant, a cafe, out with friends, it gets a little bit noisy, and I need to amplify my voice. And the nice thing is, doing it through the app, I can change the volume on the device.
Good point.
Very good point. Very good to know. So now I'd like to switch over and focus a bit on the web tool. And this is the part where I'd love for you to be able to share your screen, and we'd like you to, show us a little bit of how you use it. And I'll walk you through, that. So do you mind, let's see, opening, so first on another tab, it's going to be tricky. I'm going to ask you to, on another tab, to open up the web tool. And once you have that open on the other tab, I will ask you to share that tab, and I can explain how to do that.
Yeah, all good to go.
Okay, great. So then at the bottom of your screen where I'm at, there's a couple of circles, a few circles, and there's a Present Now button. That's a square with the up arrow. Do you see that square with the up arrow? At the bottom of the screen, there's a button.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you click that, it will give the option to just share the tab.
Yeah.
And then you might have to take a moment to find the exact tab. It should be a list of your.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, great.
And I'll share the audio as well.
Yeah, you can see how the audio.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that worked great. There we are. So for this first part, I kind of just want to talk about each part of this screen and get your feedback on it. But overall, what was your overall impression, of this tool when you saw it, and how you've been using it?
It was simple.
Mm-hmm.
It was obvious how to use it. I don't think Richard guided me through anything. I think it was obvious how I needed to use it. So there was already words in there. So I think I'd even click create on that. Otherwise, I realized that I could either type something in there, or copy and paste text
Mm-hmm.
from another source and put it into there.
Yeah. So you saw those words there, and those words there kind of indicated to you that you could enter in text.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that the cursor was flashing, I knew that that was the input place.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So it was intuitive.
Okay. Was there anything not intuitive about the text box?
No,
Okay.
no, nothing at all. It didn't show that there was a maximum or a minimum amount to put in there. So I think I went with quite a lot, each time, seeing how much, and, looking to see how quick it converted it.
Tell me about it. What did you learn about how much you could put in? And then separately about the process, the length of processing what you put in.
Well, I realized that there was no real limit to what you could put in there.
Mhm.
You know, I think there was a whole page of text that I'd copied and pasted into there. And the fact that I could just click create. I didn't play around too much with the playback speed, purely because I didn't need that functionality.
Yeah. Why didn't you need that functionality?
Because the playback speed that it came back at was perfect.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Are there any? Mhm.
the one that was given was the right speed.
Okay. Do you envision yourself in any scenarios where you might use that playback, or you're comfortable with what you received?
I should imagine if I was talking to somebody who finds the English language difficult to process, whether they be from another country where English isn't their first language, or whether they have a special needs and need it slowed down a bit. And I know, some people do prefer, if they're trying to listen really carefully, they might want it slowed down.
Got it. I want to ask you about that multi-sentence feature. What is that?
Okay, so by clicking on that little box there, okay, then that allowed any text, if there was, for example, a full stop in there, then I've got 2 sentences in there. If I tick that box, then clicking create would create 2 separate sentences from the text.
Mhm.
So that was fine, especially if afterwards I wanted to redo the order of my sentences. But most of the time I'd be quite happy with the order that I put it in. But having it this way would mean that I'd be able to say part of my previous sentence again without having to play all of it.
Okay. And to figure out how that multi-sentence feature worked, how did you figure that out?
It was it was a trial and error. What does this button do? I'd copied a few sentences in, clicked that box, and worked out very straightforward how what it does.
Okay. Would you have wanted any improvements or anything to support?
No, I didn't need any instruction on that.
Okay.
And then I was nosy about the 3 dots
I
anyway.
was just going to ask you about the 3 dots. Tell me, what's your understanding of the 3 dots? And
well, 3 dots usually means there's something more.
yeah,
So I clicked on the something more button and then found the download. And I noticed that that wasn't on the mobile version.
Oh, okay. It's not on the mobile.
No, I couldn't. When I did that on my mobile phone, I didn't see those 3 dots there. So when I wanted to send a recording to someone, I think it was to Richard, I realized I'm going to have to jump onto my my computer.
Yeah. So it sounds like it would have been useful to have had the 3 dot option, so that for you sharing your voice recording on your mobile, you would have been able to do that.
Yeah, possibly. But how that might have worked, it might be something where you need to turn your phone sideways, get a larger screen. a larger view, because it does become quite small on a mobile device,
Yeah.
especially
So
one.
if we were able to figure out the technical design and feasibility, would that have been a useful feature to have on the mobile, or is it okay that, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I probably wouldn't use it that often on a mobile device. It would be nice to have that, because as an option, even if it's a case of selecting smaller view,
Yeah.
so that that option is there, because not everybody will have access to a computer.
Got it. Let's see. I want to ask you a little bit more about the user interface that we're looking at here. What about on the right, far right side of the screen? What is that button, the first button?
Okay, so this one, well, if I click on it, that, I think it's not doing what it did the other day.
What
Okay,
do you expect that to do?
so it should copy that text. Oh, there it is. It has done it. It's put it up in the top. So
Yes.
there's my hello there. If I click that, it puts in the hello there.
Mhm.
If I click that again, what I would like it to have done is, can you see that if I want hello there, and then I wanted that sentence brought in,
Yeah.
that would have been good to have then been able to click there and put that in at the cursor position.
Let me see.
Does that
Yes.
make sense? So if I wanted hello there, hi,
Uh-huh.
one sentence, if I'd have pressed that, I could then have the word hi straight after.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it doesn't. It takes it all out. I
Got it.
probably would use that if I hadn't have had multiple sentences.
I see. Yeah. So it sounds like if it were just that one sentence there, using the triangle button allows you to use it in a way that you would want to, but the combination of those sentences, now that you're in the multi-sentence feature, it's difficult to get both of them, but impossible to get both of them back into that text box.
Yeah.
And so that triangle button, what does it do?
So that triangle button puts my original text back into the box at the top. But I mean, there is the possibility to highlight, copy, go there and paste, so that I could put my text in if I wanted to.
Got it. And then the last,
and that would have been, I can do that quite quickly, quicker on a mobile phone if you've got the ability to hold down the text, which you have. So it's nothing too big if somebody's familiar with copy and paste anyway.
Yeah. And the last thing there on the right, what is that?
That will delete the whole of that line, so I can click on there and it's gone. It's as though it was never there.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to see? Anything missing?
I'd like the app to be predictive.
What do you mean by that?
So that I could have a set of words, a word bank. So there could be, for example, a bank of words to do with food, to do with social activities. So a word bank, so that I could easily select the words rather than have to type them in. and that is purely as my ability to type becomes harder.
Yeah. And yeah, so select on your desktop, it would be using your mouse to select, and on the mobile app, how would you select or prefer to select?
So I would prefer it if the words, my frequently used words came up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then just like when you text, you have predictive text. So it would predict your next word that you're going to put in.
Yeah, I see. Okay. That's really helpful to know. Very helpful to know. Okay, so I've got your experience with each feature of the web tool there. And now I'd like to kind of just get your experience actually typing in sentences of different lengths, and soon I'm going to ask Steve, what does he think of the voice he's hearing? And we'll probably go back and say, what did you initially think? And just hear from his first report. But let's kind of make our way there by, if you think of a place in your life, Diana, just want to kind of get you to think of a scenario that we can walk in with you and kind of understand the context. So thinking of a place in your life where you might use this tool. Is there a scenario maybe even that you and Stephen, might have that you could tell us about in which you would use this tool?
So for example, if we're out meeting new people and we're just introducing ourselves, rather than I have to go through several times as we mingle around a room of strangers, if you like, new acquaintances, rather than I have to say everything all over again. Be nice that we can just click play and it's as though it's us speaking it, because it's our voice. So
Your voice.
yeah, well, obviously my voice, not yours. But yeah, so that would be quite useful.
All right, well, let's build on that scenario. Go for it. What would you, if you would type in a short sentence that you might say when you are, go for
I
it.
was thinking that we could just do that. Imagine this is a cocktail party or something like that, a wine and cheese. And I could come up and say hello to you and Steve, even though I've never met you before and I'm just being sociable. So can we work on that one?
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay. So, hello. My name is Richard. I'm delighted to meet you both. Just very happy to see you.
Okay. So it does take a little while for me to type.
No problem. You take your time. I shall nibble on this cheese and have this large glass of red wine.
Oh,
Maybe my
that
second.
does sound very nice. Okay. So there we go.
Hello, my name is Diana.
So
Fine.
I hope
Done.
that was loud enough.
It certainly was, Diana. It's lovely to meet you. And your partner's name?
This is Steve.
Surely not the great Steve.
And there we go. We can see a good use for that arrow there, because I've clicked it. I've clicked create and it hasn't created it.
Yeah. And when you click the arrow, put it back in the box. And are you hearing the voice?
No, it's not doing that one. It
Okay.
does not like that sentence.
Yeah, that is very interesting.
Mhm.
Let's have a look. I think it's stopped loading.
And am I seeing that correct? That the play button on the far left is in is
It's
not gray.
It's grayed out.
It's grayed out. Okay.
Yeah, it's gone down, I think.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah,
is
they've all
load
grayed out. Would you mind just reloading it just to see if that makes a difference?
I have done that, yeah.
Okay. Oh dear.
And what happens if the entire tab, if you do the reload?
I have reloaded.
And I see, yeah, it doesn't save your recordings when you do the
No,
reload.
that would be really useful if it had the ability to save previous recordings.
And why would that be useful for you, Diana?
I have a friend who has no voice,
Mhm.
and when she uses her app, she will say something, and we will then get sidetracked, and she'll go back to something that she'd said earlier. So it's a bit of an aide memoir as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, especially when you get sidetracked off a conversation, it's nice to go back to what you were saying earlier. And
Yeah.
she herself has several times where she will say, I've accidentally deleted it, and she's got to start all over again. Maybe her app is a bit too easy to delete text from, but it does save the work, providing she doesn't click on a delete button.
I think that's I love that idea, and you're kind of saving the history to revisit it just in case maybe missed a slot in the conversation or want to go back to that subject.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
if you're meeting people later that day or later that event, you can go back and just click play again, and it will save you having to type it all over.
Yeah. Yeah.
We live in Norfolk.
Oh, Norfolk, a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah, that is the only one that sounds a little bit unusual.
Okay.
Okay, instead of Norfolk, it's come out as Norfolk.
We live in Norfolk.
Oh, interesting.
But hey, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I live. It still sounds like me, my voice.
Yeah. That does sound a bit unusual, you say. And then you follow that with it, overall, that doesn't matter. So on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being it really does matter a lot. And then 5 being it doesn't matter so much. It really doesn't matter at all. Like how much of a concern, if that continues to happen, would you say?
So far, I've only found that one word.
Yeah.
So if it's just one word in 1,000, then that's fine by me.
And if it's now we're talking about 1,000, so now what if it's 500 out of 1,000?
I think if it was more than 10%, I'd be really worried. I'd start worrying probably at 5% of the words.
Yeah.
5 out of every 100.
Yeah.
The accent is my accent, and that is possibly what I was more identifying with, especially when I tried other systems that had given me a different accent.
Yeah.
So this one is my accent.
That's right. Okay. And is there a longer sentence that you might say in that scenario? So now we know this is Steve, and you all live in Norfolk, and
I was just wondering, have you got any pets, and what are their names? And any pets?
Yeah. Noisy ones, they're fighting at the moment.
They are lovely, I have to say.
Okay, so at the moment, the quickest way is for me to audio dictate it.
I see a pet. Okay, I see that the quickest way is audio dictating right now and not typing the longer sentence.
It doesn't like to.
This dog is called Twiggy.
Such a well-behaved Twiggy.
Twiggy.
Do
Yeah.
you think Twiggy might recognise your voice?
She has done.
Twiggy is 2 years old.
That's a cute Twiggy.
Yeah, she's very cute, aren't you?
And what went well for you with that, the way that you heard that?
That was just as though I had recorded those words with my voice.
Yeah. Got it. And yeah, Steve, how is the voice sounding to you? What are your thoughts?
She played a trick on me once. She actually typed it out and sent it me in a voice message, and I couldn't believe it when she repeated it that she hadn't said it. She just typed it out. I had no idea it was not you.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that she's going to lose her voice someday, it's really pleasing for me to know I can still listen to her voice. Whether it's nagging me or just asking me for a cup of tea, it'd be nice.
Yeah. That's really great to hear, for sure.
I love that.
Okay. I guess I'm curious to know if you two were to chat back and forth. Diana, what might you say to Stephen here? I mean, I just heard, yeah, you might say, would you like a cup of tea? Is there something else that you'd say that you'd type in there and we can hear?
Yeah, I'm just putting here Twiggy biscuit. If she hears that word, I wonder if she'll.
Twiggy biscuit.
Twiggy biscuit.
Twiggy biscuit.
Twiggy biscuit.
I think I'm on my highest volume.
Twiggy biscuit.
Twiggy
There we
biscuit.
go, a bit louder. Yeah, I'd use it to say to Steve maybe what I want for dinner, maybe some suggestions,
Mm,
do a shopping list.
Yeah.
Possibly a shopping list is more visual because obviously you'd have it as you go around the shop. But yeah, to sort of remind him that we need to do certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to remind him, and it's nice, he knows it's come from me.
Okay. Well, can we build on the what would you like for dinner one and type that one in and see what Stephen's response would be?
would
What
you
would
like
you
for
like
dinner?
for dinner?
Whatever you would like.
What did he say?
Whatever you would like.
And
I always
what?
let her choose teas because it's better for her to swallow. I just go along
Yeah.
with whatever she wants.
Okay. What would
What
your
Would you like for dinner?
What is really interesting
Mhm.
is I've got the two sentences there, and it doesn't matter about the punctuation. It's taken the word "what" as being the question word, so the emphasis, it's actually asking the question, not the question mark controlling the question.
Yeah.
So they
Yep.
both sound like a question.
What would you like for dinner?
Yep, that's right. Despite the punctuation mark of the
Yeah,
question.
and that is really important.
Mhm.
You know, when you're typing it, you possibly want to leave that out.
Yeah. Is that for ease or speed or?
Yeah, ease and speed, definitely.
Mhm.
And also for me, to find the punctuation, I've got to use the sticky keys. On the accessibility settings, I've set up the sticky keys so that I can access the uppercase characters separately.
Okay. Okay. I want to kind of we've got 8 minutes left and kind of wrap up and ask just your overall satisfaction of the web tool and, how was that experience using it to chat?
Using it to chat, I think it's been more of a, this is a recording, not so much of a chat I've used.
Mhm. Okay.
Purely because it's only me that's got it. Had it been someone else as well that I'm chatting with, then might be using it as a chat method. But most of the time I've just copied large chunks of text and put into it. For example, during a session, a lesson, I've been able to highlight a lot of information, put it in, record it, create it, play it back, and that has given me a little bit of an opportunity not to talk for a couple of minutes.
I see.
And to rest my existing voice.
Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah. So the primary purpose right now, it's allowing you to record and supplement what you might in a reading scenario, reading and have it read, but it still be your voice, your identity there in your voice, through your voice.
Yeah. And I think if the option was there to pick and choose the words and build up sentences, and I have that then onto a tablet with a digital voice built in into the tablet rather than going via the web, then I would be using it in the places, like I said, where it's noisy and I just can't make myself heard.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So it sounds like.
Yeah, so on some days I don't have a voice.
Yeah. So it sounds like in those scenarios, having it available to you, regardless of whether you're online or not,
Yeah.
just and having some phrases that are available to you that you've had before. I mean, picture this. I'm just saying. If you felt like actually today my voice is really difficult for me, I want to use this for real. I want to use this now. What's the top 3 things that you would like to see, in addition to what you're seeing now?
A bank to save my previous sentences, a bank of different subjects so that I could put the sentences in those subject banks. So I might have a bank, things about me, things about the weather, or questions that I need to ask, or answers to questions that I know would be asked. So a sort of prediction, if you like. And third option, I think that was two at the end there anyway.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you, Diana.
But
Yeah.
I just can't say how amazed the voice sound. It was just a shock. When I was sent the samples, I didn't actually believe they weren't me when I first heard it.
You definitely had a tear in your eye when you were listening to it.
I think we must have worn those out and playing those over and again. That was quite a few months ago, wasn't it?
Well, I just want to wrap us up now, and first with lots of gratitude. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing your experience with trying this tool and how you envision that it could be useful for you even beyond, how it currently exists. This is just valuable information, and just really, really appreciate your time so much.
Oh,
Thank you for your hard work in this.
yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you
Steve.
so much.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated. It's really put a huge smile on our faces having this tool.
Yeah, well, we hope we can continue to make it better. Absolutely. Well, with that said, I hope, Twiggy, it was nice meeting you too. Cute little pup. And you guys, I hope you have an awesome weekend coming ahead. It's exciting, to hear about this Platinum Jubilee. Wow.
Yeah, and I look forward to hearing back of anything in the pipeline. I'm here at the end if you want to run anything through.
Absolutely. That's such a great resource. Richard is here. You guys are welcome.
Thank you, Diana.
And yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Steve. Thank you to the celebrity Twiggy. Thank you to all three of you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Have a lovely evening.
All right.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.